In September 1967, Traffic is interviewed about their latest single and react to the Mothers of Invention's latest album. Jimi Hendrix discusses the negative feedback he is receiving on his latest record while he describes first hearing Procol Harum. And we will review some of the recent singles to hit the charts on today's episode of This Day in Music. The New Musical Express reporter arrives to interview Traffic, which he describes as delightfully impossible to interview. He says he goes for a ride with the chief offender, Dave Mason, who wrote the group's latest single, Hole in My Shoe. Dave is somewhat surprised to find him jumping up and down in front of his car, waving him down. The reporter explains he's there to interview him, which Dave thought was supposed to be yesterday. They drove to the Take 6 boutique, where Dave intends to buy some green trousers to wear on their first live appearance at the opening of a Swedish tour, which they are due to fly out for that night. Within 5 minutes of talking, Dave discusses the pop business. The reporter says you can guarantee you'll find yourself involved in a discussion on the vices of world science, art, and philosophy. However, they got off to a promising start about the new hit. Dave tells him, "Let's get one thing straight," as he changes violently into third gear. "The group is Traffic. If my singing and having written the new single emphasize that, then it's a good thing. The song is a dream I had. It was never written intentionally as a new single, but the others all liked it, and Steve thought my voice was better suited for the composition. So that was that." A brief excursion into the boutique for his trousers, and then they're off again, this time in the direction of another shop, Granny Takes a Trip. Further conversation produced the information that Dave is not overly anxious about becoming a well-known face. "There are a lot of things that hang me up about being in the pop scene, including the idea that you're only catering to people of a certain age limit between the age of 14 and 21. There are a lot of people interested outside of that, and I hope we're reaching some of them as well. What we're concerned with is producing music. I have no desire to get on a pedestal scene. If you want to be an idol, you can go ahead and stand on stage and do nothing. We want to make music. The idea that you have to be some kind of god before people will listen to you has always sickened me." They soon spot Steve Winwood, Jim Capaldi, and Chris Wood walking on the other side of the road. Many apologies from Steve for being late for the interview. Much bewilderment from Dave, who had not been told of one, and off they went to the nearest pub where plates of cheese sandwiches and orange juice awaited. It is perhaps because Traffic are putting something of their own into their music that conversations with them on purely pop music level become impossible. "I don't think science is such a bad thing," said Steve, after Dave said scientific progress is art. "I enjoy many of the things it has given me, my car for a start. But imagine if you had no car, no fridges, no washing machines, and no TV," said Dave. "Science is making people lazy, stopping them from thinking." Leaving these two to argue, the reporter turns to Chris Wood, who kindly provides pop fodder. "We've done some TV commercials for orange juice and a well-known soft drink. The stage we're erecting outside of our cottage is there so we can play outdoors. Maybe we'll have our own free mini festival. Stereo singles are a good idea. We were thinking about it for Hole in My Shoe." Jim Capaldi was not happy about the idea of stereo Traffic singles and said the generic public went for an overall sound. They were not too concerned with individual sound technique. The reporter managed to get in a question about if all the recent trends in pop music reflected new moral attitudes or simply music to think to. "Whatever happened to music to dance to? Wouldn't it be nice if someone concentrated on just making people laugh and dance?" "The tremolos obliged," Chris Wood said. "The trims are good because they're putting their real selves into their music," declared Jim, who came out strongly on their side. "They're good." The reporter then asked Steve how he considered their chances of the new single in America. "Much better than Paper Sun," replied Steve. "Frankly, it's a more immediate number. You have to hear Paper Sun a lot of times before it really got home, but you can catch this one at once. We're hoping to go to America in February for a few college dates." The Mothers of Invention also came up in the conversation next. "Rubbish, chaos," declared Jim. "Expanding ideas," said Chris. Contradictory publicity with that Zappa picture in a woman's dress. I like listening to it because the ideas take you out, waffled Steve. The incredible string band got applause all around and acclaim from Traffic for their new things. Glad the Traffic Debating Society liked something. Next, Jimi Hendrix responds to criticism. The New Musical Express describes, he's taking another fantastic excursion into the realms of pop nightmares with The Burning of the Midnight Lamp. The article goes on, if you too are baffled by this latest piece of musical voodoo from Jimi Hendrix, take some heart in the fact that both Mick Jagger and I are equally mystified by this disc. After having heard the single a few times, I'm left feeling like the man who, admiring a fast car on the road, declares, "That was damn good. What was it?" At his flat off the Edgewood Road, Jimmy smiled when I expressed my bewilderment as to what it was all about. "I'm glad there's this kind of reaction," he said happily. "Maybe it's a little murky in there, a bit smoky, but it's the kind of disc you want to put down and go back to." When I first heard Procol Harum's Whiter Shade of Pale, the meaning was very muddy. I understood about the first verse and that was all. But as you hear it again and again, you begin to put the thing together.
Turns cartwheels across the floor.
I wrote part of the song on a plane between LA and New York and finished it in the studios in America. There are some very personal things in there, but I think everyone can understand the feeling when you're traveling that no matter what your address, there's no place that you can call home. It's the feeling of a man in a little house in the middle of the desert where he is burning the midnight lamp. It's a different record, like I do one thing and they say, "That's good, that's great." Then I say, "Well, how about this then?" And they say, "Yeah, that's a number one." So I do something else, I guess. Something has to wire apart somewhere. I've never tried to establish one sound as a guitarist. You always knew when it was Chuck Berry or Duane Eddy or Bo Diddley when they played. But I'm trying to do new things all the time. Some people are ashamed of their hit records, but I'm proud to be associated with mine. I think it's a very groovy record. And if you don't like it, well then turn it over. That's a very nice ditty on the other side. Then they made a brief excursion to see Jimmy's bedroom, which is described like kind of Aladdin's cave. Lace shawls and tapestries hung from the walls, and a great colored balls of cloth were pinned to the ceiling. LPs were scattered liberally all over the flowered carpet, and suspended from a lampshade in the middle of the ceiling were two little gilt figures of cherubs they had recently bought at an antique shop. One of the angels had a broken arm. "That's the groovy thing about him," smiled Jimmy. "He can fly with a broken arm." On Fame and Success, he had this to say, "All the things I thought were important before I had a hit record are just as important now. Trying to understand people and respect their feelings regardless of your position or theirs. The beautiful things are still the same, the sunset and the dew on the grass. No material wealth changes the way I feel about these things. If you're looking for real happiness, you go back to the happiest days you had as a child." On Transcendental Meditation, he says, "I don't really believe that this transcendental meditation is much more than daydreaming. If you really believe in yourself, you can think it out on your own. You don't need someone else." He talked flower power lingo, of course. "Yeah, I wonder what's next. I suppose we'll get Weed Speed, and I can't wait for the winter when we get all those fog songs and sledge heads on the scene." Jimmy's latest contribution to the beautiful world are bells on his Apache boots, hidden beneath leather fringes. Singles heading up the charts in the UK are Itchy Coo Park by the Small Faces at number 12, Heroes and Villains by the Beach Boys at 10, and San Francisco by Scott McKenzie at number 3. LPs are Piper at the Gates of Dawn by Pink Floyd at number 3,
Everything if you want thing.
The Sound of Music soundtrack at number 2,
I am 16, going on 17.
and Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles at number 1.
Picture yourself
In the US, it's a bit different with Come Back When You Grow Up by Bobby V at number 3,
woman now. Your mind hasn't.
Reflections by Diana Ross and the Supremes at 2, and Ode to Billy Joe by Bobby Gentry.
Today, Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. If you want to see an extended version of this day in music, become a member for ad-free and exclusive content on YouTube or Patreon. See you next video.